Good evening, VV Nation. Welcome to the channel. It's Thursday, Semiconductor Thursdays. My name is Ryan. Always a pleasure giving these 6 p.m. videos. Now, tonight's presentation, Micron reported after the bell yesterday. Big jump up. However, we are giving a lot of those gains away today, and actually it's down about 2%. Now, Micron is not a stock I typically talk about. I mean, a little bit here and there. But I've done a lot of research on Micron. I put a series of stories up that we're going to get into to show you the importance of this company, to show you exactly why I think the company is going to be going higher in the future, and its importance when it comes to AI revolution going forward. Some big partnerships when it comes to Micron. So without further ado, we're going to take a look at these stories. We're going to jump in the VectorVest 7 software. I'm going to give you everything you need to know about Micron going forward as an investor. As 4th of July approaches and we celebrate our nation's independence, let VectorVest help you with your financial independence. A trial just 99 cents over the next 30 days. Just go to VectorVest.com/YT. The special ends July 7th. First up, Micron stock rises on record revenue, upbeat outlook for growing AI demand. A lot of big things when it comes to Micron. Earlier this month, Micron said it would spend about $200 billion to increase its U.S. semiconductor production and research and development project. Other than that, if we take a look here, a revenue of $9.3 billion with data center sales more than doubling a year ago. Their chips are crucial for these AI data centers. Here's another article talking about the enthusiasm from the earnings call. Micron stock rallies as memory chip maker crushes estimates. Remember that, memory chip. And as I scroll down, this is exactly the chip here. It's called the HBM4. Now, Micron just announced that it had begun shipping it on June 10th. So this is brand new. And look, it's next generation high bandwidth memory for AI data centers. They are on the memory side of AI chips, which is very critical when it comes to establishing partnerships with some key players such as AMD and NVIDIA, which both use their technology. Now, other than just the general rally in the market from tariffs being pushed down a little bit, this is why the stock has been rallying. This is why the stock went from $60 roughly, now reaching over $120. Micron unveils world's fastest AI memory solutions in partnership with NVIDIA. World's fastest AI memory solutions. Now, this article did come out March 19th, so it's not new, but I did put it out there because A, I thought this was very important for you to know why the rally has been occurring in the first place, and B, this article came out on my birthday, which I thought was pretty cool. Now, I'm trying to simplify this. You know, I do semiconductor videos pretty much weekly, but this is the crucial part. Those memory chips, right? Those chips are used for AI inference. I know you've heard me talk about AI inference before when it comes to AMD, NVIDIA. That is the fastest segment of AI right now. And you can see right here, focus on AI inference. Micron strategically focuses on the AI inference market, which is faster growing than AI training, right? And you see this right here, this HBM that we mentioned in the prior article. This is what's putting them on the map. This is why Micron in general needs to be on your radar if you want great exposure to the growing and profitable AI market share. And that leads me to the partnerships, right? You see Micron's memory chips, particularly high bandwidth memory. Again, it's all about the HBM, right? HBM for AI inference. That's the crucial part. That's what makes Micron important when it comes to this AI race, right? Going forward. And you can see the collaboration with AMD and NVIDIA here. They use these HBM chips for both companies and their data centers, right? What other semiconductor company that I talk about that has a great, important relationship with both AMD and NVIDIA? ARM Holdings, right? So my next inclination was, do they compete with each other? And they don't. You see here, they're both prominent players in the semiconductor industry. However, they operate in different areas of the market and primarily compete in terms of potential future applications rather than direct product overlap. When it comes to Micron, it's all about the DRAM, right? And flash memory. It's all about memory chips. While ARM Holdings specialize in designing and licensing CPU, central processing unit, architectures. So they are different in nature. I've always talked about the importance of ARM and the relationship when it comes to NVIDIA and AMD. But after, doing some studying and some research, Micron having just as an important relationship with both of these big players, which I have a feeling can push this stock to new highs going forward. Now, if you're new to watching my semiconductor videos, again, I'm trying to simplify this so people can understand. Now, if you got a background in computer science, you could probably pick up on this a lot quicker than the average bear. But this is what you really need to know if you're trying to make some money in this space here. Rapid growth driven by increasing adoption of AI and machine learning applications. The AI inference market is projected to reach $254 billion by 2030, right? As I scroll down here, you can see dominant players here, NVIDIA, AMD, also a significant player, Lisa Su, predicting $500 billion total addressable market for AI accelerator chips by 2028. These are huge numbers here, right? And look, here it is again, HBM dominance, the high bandwidth memory chip with revenue projected to nearly double in 2025 and reach $34 billion. Again, Micron just stated on June 10th, they're releasing their new high-end HBM chips. And also, what popped up on here other than AMD and NVIDIA? We've got Micron investing heavily in HBM development, aims to increase its HBM market share despite facing challenges from established players and potential trade risks. Again, the biggest concern I have when it comes to semiconductors is going to be the deal with China going forward. Otherwise, some optimism for this space, potential interest rate cuts going forward. So it's kind of a flip coin, and you're going to want to pay attention to the news because if you see the tensions with China escalate, and if tariffs escalate between the United States and China, it's probably not going to be good for the semiconductors. I'm just going to put that out there for you now before you get caught off guard in case that scenario happens. All right, we're in the VectorVest 7 software, so let's break down Micron. Now that I got you caught up to speed on what they do and their importance to the AI revolution, we can see here Micron, it is down ever so slightly. I saw a mix, between profit taking. There's a little bit of bottom of a wick, so a little bit indecision in what the market wants to do on the next step as Micron. We'll take a look at the chart in just a moment. But the first thing I like here, just like AMD, just like NVIDIA, this is a hot space with a lot of value here. The stock trading at $126. We value the position $185. Again, I say this all the time, not a price target. It's just what we feel the company is worth, right? It's a mathematical formula created by Dr. Alito many years ago, and it's still valuable information to utilize today. Now, fundamentally, with RVRS, great fundamentals here. That RV here, which looks at long-term price appreciation compared to a AAA corporate bond. Hey, I'd much rather have my money in Micron than a bond right now. Relative safety, it is safer than the average bear in the database, coming in at 1.09. Now, RT relative timing looks at the short-term price trend. If you've looked at semis lately, obviously, most of these stocks are trending up. So at no surprise, the RT is favorable territory for the bulls right now. And with 1.66, that's showing some magnitude behind that favor. Now, overall value, safety, and timing, great score here with Micron, 1.48. This is what I'm concerned about. CI, 0.59. That represents the stock's ability to resist lengthy or severe price declines. Now, AMD's got a low CI as well. A lot of semiconductor stocks do. A lot of them pulled back, right? Now, there are some with a great CI rating. So this would be my one warning sign when it comes to Micron. We do have a buy rating on this position. If I look at the forecasted data, sales growth rate, 38%, growth rate in earnings, 36%. I like both of these numbers respectively. So now let's jump in the chart and see what opportunities lie ahead. All right, we're looking at the chart of Micron right now. The first thing I'm going to say is, look, this stock was around $60. Now it's just above 120. So the stock has doubled since March, right? Since it's low back in March here. Now the stock has been on a strong rally. You can see the stock rallying into the earnings call. However, some profit taking today, but look, some buying pressure here as well. The stock's still trying to find some decision on which way it wants to go here. Now I do see this line here around 127. The reason why I have that here, if I go to a 1-year chart, you can see there's a gap fill here, right? So if I'm going to be bullish on this stock right now, we've already filled the gap. So investors and traders are trying to figure out if they're going to take the stock higher past the gap fill. And if I scroll back a little bit more here, we see the prior high coming in at $157.53, right? So these are things to keep on your radar as the stock continues to go higher, if it potentially goes higher, right? Now, if I go back to a 6-month time span, I'm going to add our valuation here. We can see this is one of my favorite chart patterns I talk about. Look, value on the rise, price action on the rise. You can see as value was on the decline here, price action pretty stagnant and it did eventually decline as well. But since it's low, my favorite chart pattern is in play right now. In addition to that, we gave a buy recommendation on this position as early as $92 here. The stock currently trading up 126. So a lot of momentum to the upside for the bulls right now. If I go into a 3-month time span, if we do get continuation of some profit taking here and we get a little bit of a pullback, I'm looking for a pivot around 114 to around 117. That'll be my level support. And with the 20-day EMA moving right into that level support here, that's a good trade setup to look for a pivot. So if you don't want to buy at the high or on a down day, which don't normally recommend buying on a down day, it's going to be more aggressive in nature. If the stock continues to go down, look for the pivot here, right? Otherwise, if momentum does change, the high currently today sits at 129. We're only at 125, 126 really. See it change? $3 away. So I'd either give up those $3, look for confirmation to the upside, or look for pivot to the downside. Now, as far as forecasted data, look, growth rate and earnings rocking and rolling to the upside, 36% right now. In addition, the sales growth rate coming in at 38%. Now, if I go back to a year here, you can see the sales growth rate faltering. So that is a concern of mine, along with the CI rating. But look, earnings per share, nice steady stair-step fashion to the upside. Growth rate earnings, nice steady stair-step fashion. A lot of positive things on this chart and on this stock in general. Now, again, my name is Ryan. You know I love putting out semiconductor videos. I believe the stock's got a lot of great potential going forward. So if you enjoyed tonight's content, if this made you, understand what Micron does a little bit more and how they play a pivotal role in AI data centers going forward, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you tomorrow evening.